Hey, welcome back everyone with Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. Last time around, we got to hear from Iris/Dahlia Hawthorne. And in case you guys did not watch the last episode, I would highly recommend it. But let's just say we just exorcised some of our demons from the past. And I'll just leave it at that. I really don't want to get any more into that. But today we're going to be listening to Maya Bay, who just recently came back to us from circumstances which I don't want to get into at this point. I just want to get straight back into this trial. But before we do that, hope you guys have an awesome day today. Hope you guys doing well. But yeah, we've been challenged by Godot to solve this case once and for all by ourselves, not from any help from a beautiful woman, as he put it. So we are gonna go ahead and accept his challenge. That's enough. This course is now in recess. And yes, we are starting this episode on the recess, but hey. The last episode was going on long enough in my opinion. February 10th, 2:56 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris was inside the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister. I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by her mother and never got any love from her father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hazkura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her. Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago? Yes. I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister, Valerie, ended up... That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people? You must mean... Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth, Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You. That's right. Iris, there's one more thing I have to ask you. Yes, what is it? On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Donham, was it really you? Yes, it was me. That night after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But the path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. We can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say, got it? I still can't get over that. Oh my god. And of all people, Larry saw that. It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Miss Elise always held. I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff. Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile. But why? Why did you alter the body? I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the Shichishido. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. I see. Victim's staff updated in the court record. Has a sword hidden inside. The actual weapon used to murder the victim. Defendant. Yes? The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. Alright. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me. Okay. So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix. Mia! How is Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. I see. You don't mean... She's learned who Elise Donham really was. Yes, I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer, you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still. I think that just maybe, I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple, and the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plans from the very beginning. And one more thing, the victim was moved to the Hazakura Temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly, so the culprit was someone that wasn't in the Hazakura Temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win. Or lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see, anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me. All by myself. And obviously I'm not gonna end it. We're not even 10 minutes in this episode, but we are gonna go ahead and save. February 10th, 3:36 p.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 7. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm gonna announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Tests? Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Faye used when she fought with the victim. So whatever the results, was it the victim's blood, or... Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? Dagger updated in the court record. Found stuck in the pine tree in Inner Temple Garden. The blood doesn't match the victim's. I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, The witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking, so let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well, please bring in the last witness. Oh, I forgot to read that in his voice. Oh, by the way, I should let you guys know that I have a cup of coffee with me while I'm playing this, so I am, for this, probably for here on out, I'm probably going to be drinking coffee during these final few episodes of this case, but, I mean, not that it really has to do with anything, but I just realized that I have a cup of coffee right now as I'm doing this, but... Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Company Law Offices. Maya. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the crime channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fey clan. I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden in the inner temple. And you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Donham's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see any... Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. Bye-bye. Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. Who am I? Witness testimony at the inner temple. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Huh. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it would be hard to determine a criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. Hey there, Rowan. We're gonna go ahead and save. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. Cross-examination. Okay, she was passing through the garden on the way. Someone struck her over the head. She stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man? A woman? An adult? A child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that was my last hope. Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What did I do? Do I press it for more details? Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No. That's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah. But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like... What do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. But what did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Ah! But what is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? Well, witness, are you absolutely sure what you're saying? Behind the attacker there was another person? I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done? Huh. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to this case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. I'm sorry, but I just don't believe that. And if you remember in previous testimony, we knew that it was I think it was... Was it Sister Bikini that said it was impossible for this lantern to be lit? Objection! So there was a man standing behind your attacker? Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Donham. Otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer. Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? Well, what is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed a huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No! Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait. Cafe au lait? Oh, is that even legal? Mr. Tright's words are the milk and you are the spoon. Your Honor. Oh, I'm a spoon. I'm not Spoony Bird, I'll have you know. You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Well, it was your idea to call her up on the witness stand. Objection! Sorry, but that's not gonna cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony in the nick. May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. Ah! In other words, that would mean that Maya actually saw a mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No! Well, order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying this face are the real killer under pitch-black conditions? Objection! Trey, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. Objection! There are some things you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. To cover? For the man who killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Huh. You talk a good game, Trey, but let's see if we can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling you a bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please, stop. Maya is dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you got. Okay, then. Who was this person that you saw Miss Faye saw in the darkness? Well, it happens to be Mr. Prosecutor, Mr. Godot. Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Whoa, this is... but it can't be. Huh. Oh. That's a nice bit of deduction. That's right. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order! 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 Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. Well, what do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. But Maya, I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man, for a totally different reason. What? Well, witness, Mr. Wright, will you... Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Alright. Let me take a drink of coffee real quick. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... Witness testimony. The killer. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all the snow around the snow lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor, No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural you'll be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Cross-examination. The killer. Okay, when she came to, by the time she got back... Torches were lit and the body was gone. The torches were lit? Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. I'm gonna say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it would be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be... the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. And all the snow around the snow lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take the snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue, but I think this will help explain them. Okay. Now I want to go back to the second statement. I want to press this statement by the time she got back to the garden. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with a crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, well, when I saw the crime, I felt something. You did? Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence from me. For my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one in the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's a certainly important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. Well, he didn't do a very good job, and the reason why I say that is because of this. Objection! The body of Elise Stoneham was carried all the way to the Hazakura's temple's courtyard. Then, at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh? And what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white snow lantern. Maya. Ah! If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Oh, you're right. Order. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and move the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? Well, I know the answer to that question. I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. I know what it is, too. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave a message written in blood on the lantern? Well, it's simple. He didn't notice it. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the implausible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There's no way any normal person would. What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is this person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing? Oh, it happens to be Mr. Prosecutor. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern? There's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. Blood-colored stain that spilled all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. Huh. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer, but there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Donham, also known as Misty Faye. It's hard to believe this may be true. However, once again Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. You go on, Shrek. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not just take just that area? Yes, why didn't he take just that area? Oh, could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow, and so he had to remove all the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he moved the whole area. Objection! Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Wait just a minute. Maya! What is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after the old bridge got fixed up. Objection! Maya, you can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? But eek! After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're gonna hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Heh. Nicely done, Trey. Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened in the temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, it began channeling and the spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there at the inner temple, too. And with that, I am going to save things here. And the next time I see you guys, we will continue on with listening to Maya's testimony. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. But thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. I'll be seeing you guys again next time.